Welcome back into Boston's End of the Chat. He's Will Flemming, the voice of the Red Sox.
Yeah.
Catch him on play-by-play on the radio. Does a tremendous job. Will, good morning. My friend, thank you for joining us. Hair looks terrific, brother.
It does.
Morning. It's a little early for baseball, folks, but great to be with you guys. And I know times are probably a little tense back in Boston, and happy to talk through all of it with you guys.
Let's talk through it.
Let's get into it. And I want to start there. It does feel tense. I'm looking at the panic button. I am. And I'm being 100% honest with you, Will. I was 100% honest with Trav, our viewers. Yeah. I am looking at the panic button.
And I'm drinking, Will.
So that says it. But what is up with, I want to say the lineup is slumping. What is up with the Red Sox? But to temper expectations, they've gone 5-7 over the last 12. Just 2 games below 500. It's not like they're 1 for their last 11. So what is up with the Red Sox you've seen since September 3rd?
Well, first of all, you named the date, right? No Roman Anthony has changed everything for this offense. And you just can't dance around it. He's their best player, which is crazy to say at 21 years old. But I think he's going to be a superstar for years to come in this league, and they really miss his presence. When we talked about what made this an exciting playoff team and one that can make a deep run, you talked at first about Crochet and the rotation, and then the back end with Chapman. But it really was Roman and Bregman and Story at the top of the lineup really setting the tone. And now you kind of lack some of that pop. So it's on now the few veterans that this team has. You have to remember, this is such a young team. Alex Cora, I thought he nailed it the other night. This group has not done this together before. So I think it's on the few veterans that they do have, especially Bregman with playoff experience, Chapman. Look, Crochet has not been in this spot before. He pitches tonight, of course. So it's going to be the offense and the veteran leaders that have got to get them out of this funk. And, I mean, it's white knuckle time, right? The magic number 8 with a total of like 19 events to go. They got to find a way. They've just come too far. I don't care about the injuries, how well the Guardians are playing. This season was one that was, built for playoffs, and they've got to get it across the line.
I actually want to ask you about the Guardians because you and George bring up that September date early in the month. That series was the Guardians and the Red Sox. I just told George this story. I had a best friend of mine in town this weekend. He's a Guardians fan. He said since the Sox took 2 out of 3 from the Guardians on that very weekend you guys are talking about, they have clearly turned it around and they are hot. They are feeling cocky right now, Will. They're feeling like they're going to make the postseason. What do you make of the Guardians' run? Do they worry you?
Well, they worry me since they just keep winning, right? Yeah. I mean, whatever it is, 12 or 13 wins. Travis, I think that what happens there is, and I'm expecting this from the Red Sox the next 10 days.
Okay.
They felt their lives on the line, right? Think about what happened. It was like, if we don't start winning these games, we're done and we're going home. Whereas the Red Sox now, for a month or so, have had a 4, 5, 6 game comfortable lead. They're going to be in. I think that alarm probably goes off the next couple of days. And you think, if we don't turn this around, we're playing golf in October? I don't think that urgency is a bad thing. And I think that's part of what's gotten Cleveland going. And for that matter, Seattle too. They were out of it in the West Division. They were looking up in the wild card standing. So I think that can be a really healthy and good thing. And God knows, again, back to Alex Bregman, this is a guy who has thrived with that kind of pressure and intensity on him his entire career. So I think it's a good thing. And we've seen it with Crochet. Yankee starts at their stadium and at Fenway. The biggest moments bring out the best in him. And by the way, we just have to circle back to that. This is why I can't take the people who say, oh, what's the value in getting into a wild card round if the roster is what it is and you don't have Roman Anthony? The value is you get to see Garrett Crochet pitch game 1 of a playoff series. And when you have him and Bayo and Giolito and maybe even Connolly early, you can win a series and you can go on a run. Pitching is what matters in the playoffs. The Red Sox have that. They've just got to find a way to get the offense going.
Wow.
Yeah, and that's exactly, I agree with you. Like, look, I'm looking at the panic button, but I want them to get in. For the people that's like, what's the point? What's the point? Okay, it's playoff experience for a lineup that has 5 guys in it. Right now is constructed with less than 3 years of Major League Baseball experience. 3 full seasons. It's Crochet, it's Lucas Giolito, it's Brian Bayo, Connolly early with all his stuff. It looks great. But what could the bats do right? Because this is my worry, Will. Look, get in. I want them. I want the playoff experience for a very young lineup. But what can the bats do to course correct? Because they will need run support if we want them to mess around and steal a wild card series.
Yeah, I mean, they need to be more patient, right? I think there's just been so many strikeouts, so much chase. And this offense, again, that's sort of where Roman set the tone, right? in kind of a Kyle Schwarber way, where like if one guy sets the tone at the top of the bats, everybody else seems to follow that lead. By the way, I just want to say, George, like, what do you mean? What's it worth? We've been doing this for 6 months.
Right.
Like, who cares about the Red Sox enough and has loved them to dial into these games and says, well, what's the benefit of getting in? That to me, I just don't understand that in any way.
Yeah.
The benefit is you have a chance. Everybody who gets in the dance. How many times have we seen this where wild card teams win the World Series? Now, I do think over the next 2 weeks, you want to see them show some signs of that. And that starts with the offense. And it also starts with hitting the ball out of the ballpark. You know, it's been crazy these last couple of weeks. You see teams like the Athletics and the Diamondbacks. They got 4 or 5 guys who hit 20 or more homers. And right now the Red Sox just don't have that. So somebody, a couple guys need to find their way and start launching home runs. That would go a long way.
Okay, Will, I mean, you're giving us the formula here. I think all of us can agree with that. Let's put some numbers on it. I mean, it's 9 games left.
Yep.
Rays, who always play you tight. Tigers, Blue Jays, playoff teams, playoff implications here. What, I mean, 5-4? Will, like, what are we talking about here down the stretch? What record do the Red Sox need to have in these next 9 for you to feel like they're going to make it, they're going to be okay?
I'd say 6 is a guaranteed in. I think 5 they will be in. Again, the magic number is 9. So any combination of Red Sox wins and Guardians losses that equals 9 is going to be good enough. Now, it gets interesting because the Guardians play the Tigers again. They're with the Minnesota Twins tonight. It's one game at a time. It's the dumbest sports cliche of all time, but it is true.
It is. It's true. Yes.
It's so true. I hate that it's true.
It's one at bat. You're right. You're right.
It's so true.
It is. And the reason I say that in this context is we don't know what's going to be at stake for both the Blue Jays and the Tigers. Now, the Tigers have fallen back a little bit, and they all of a sudden might be fighting to get that bye in the first week. And they're like the Red Sox. They got this animal, Tarek Skubal. They want him lined up for game 1 of a postseason series. Yeah. So a while back, I would have said, man, maybe those 3 games don't matter as much to the Tigers. And at Fenway Park, that's kind of easy skating for the Red Sox. I don't see that anymore. But on the flip side, I don't think the Blue Jays necessarily, like, do they want to end the Red Sox season? Of course they do. Have they had magic in their ballpark? They definitely have. Yeah. That's not an easy series after this one in Tampa. I just think we can't play the game. It's like when the NFL schedule comes out and everybody, well, that's a win, that's a loss, that's a win. That you just don't know who's pitching, when, and where. And by the way, this is what it's all comes down to, and what makes this game so fun. You're in it for the first time in 5 years. Every game, every night matters. We all can't wait to get to the ballpark every night, even as it's been frustrating. It's so cool to turn on the lights every night and have it count this much.
And we bring up what the lineup, you say like the lack of the home run hitting we've seen, which is true, but one guy that has been doing it is Trevor Story. Yes, he had that bad play at short yesterday that gave up a run, but he hit that home run late. You know, 4-3 game late in the game could have been different than the 5-3 final we saw. When you bring up Alex Bregman as a veteran leader, I want to focus on Trevor Story. What does he bring to that team day to day that you've seen as a guy that travels with him, is with the team, is basically part of the fabric of the Boston Red Sox? What does Trevor Story bring that can lead to that veteran leadership to give them some success right now in this run before we're even talking postseason, Will?
Well, he's trying to strap him on his back right now. It has been so fun to watch him. And, you know, one of the delights of this season is being able to watch Trevor stay healthy and lead in the way that he's wanted to. Because this is one of the great people in all of baseball. He really is. And a guy who's got tremendous ability and power and speed. What a wonderful combination that is. And to see him finally able to stay healthy and to be able to lead this young group has been phenomenal. And again, I mean, it's 2 hits, 3 hits every single night for him with power. I know the errors last night ended up being the difference in the game, but I think he's really solidified the left side of the infield defense. Even though the Red Sox, again, lead the American League in errors made, that a lot of those came early in the year. I think with Story and Bregman on the left side, things have looked a lot better, even if some of the advanced metrics don't say so. I mean, I throw a lot of that stuff out the window. I watch every pitch of every game, and they make most of the plays that need making. And Story so often makes spectacular plays. So I think that's another thing down the stretch here that's really fun to think about is, you know, it's not like Trevor with the Colorado Rockies was in the gauntlet and thrown into the fire of these big pressurized moments. And he does strike me as the kind of guy who will rise up in those spots. And let's be fair about it, fellas. They need people to do that. The expectation was that Bregman was here to do that. I think Trevor can very much be one of those people. And by the way, I mean, it's been so fun to watch Jarren Duran mature and grow. And you go to Fenway Park, he gets the loudest cheers of anybody. He is the fan favorite, Duran is, on this team. Well, guess what? If you're going to take that mantle, which he does, I mean, he signs more autographs than anybody. He talks to more fans than anybody. It's go time right now. He had 3 hits the other night, and he's the kind of dynamic player that if he gets going, especially in that leadoff spot, he could change everything for this Red Sox offense. So I really do think it starts with the horses at the top of this lineup. Duran, Story, Bregman. You're hopeful that Wilyer Abreu can come back. He would be a huge part of the solution, the answer to this Red Sox offense. But I'm not holding my breath. He keeps having setbacks, it seems, and I just don't know where that one is.
All right, Will, it's been all sunshine and rainbows here. We all are saying they're going to make the playoffs. Let's look at the flip side of the coin and go doom and gloom and say they miss it. George and I talked about this earlier. I have it right in front of me. I'm looking at the Red Sox schedule. I mean, my God, we don't even need to go through all the one-loss runs or the one-run losses early in the season. The O's series comes to mind early in the season. Pirates, D-backs in August. This homeless athletics team that just took 2 out of 3. If they miss, and we look back on this, what will be the most glaring thing that jumps out to you? You've covered all these games that jumps out to you where you go, that's what killed him.
Well, obviously, you're right about the one-run games early in the season. That was incredible. If you win half those, a quarter of those, this thing's done. I think that really, look, this is a results-driven business, and Craig Breslow's had an awesome year in a lot of ways. Crochet, huge hit. Chapman, huge hit. Justin Wilson, fabulous. He has signed up Roman Anthony to a long-term extension. So there are a lot of wins. Steven Matz at the deadline has been really good.
Giolito.
Guys, this is Boston. It's a result-driven town. And guess what? You had a trade deadline. And I don't care who was or wasn't available. If they end up falling short, you will go from a spot where you said, we have too many outfielders. We can't possibly trade Duran or Abreu. We're going to have this surplus and go, to we didn't have enough hitters down the stretch. And by the way, there were rental hitters moved at the deadline. You don't think they could use Naylor right now or even Suarez or some of these guys who've gone to other teams that could really help them, who have playoff. So that's where, again, Craig seems to have had a phenomenal offseason, and he's done so much to build the roster. He deserves a lot of credit. But you had an opportunity at the deadline to add hitters, and they did not make that choice. They didn't do that. And it's legitimate to say, well, who actually moved? What would we have to give up? Now, look, they didn't give up Connolly early for a guy like Merrill Kelly, and everybody said, what are you talking about? Merrill Kelly's a proven postseason piece. Well, that's turning out to look like a stroke of genius because how good Connolly early is. But I think if Travis, it goes the absolute worst possible way, there's no way you can look at this season and not think back at the opportunities they had to bolt on a couple extra pieces, especially at first base after Tristan Casas went down. They trade Devers. I thought that was bold and brilliant, and it has worked out. But this front office does not lack courage. We can all say that. They have really put themselves out there this year. But if it goes totally south, I think it'll be a totally legitimate thing to say they probably should have added more at the deadline.
Will, you brought up Naylor and Suarez. Those guys went to playoff teams. I mean, Naylor went to a team that can ruin your life in the Mariners, and Suarez went to the Phillies. But in the end, this team makes the postseason, right? Gut feel.
I'm a coin flip today, fellas. And I'm the most optimistic glass half full person in the world. They got a hit. I mean, you got Crochet tonight. It's game to game. The numbers, all the probabilities say it's 85, 90% that they get. And I still think they do. But the way they're playing right now, the offense, I need to see a series a week. And I know there are not that many weeks left, but I need to see 3-4 games where they hit, because that's the only sustainable way to say, you know what, we're going to survive. You're going to have a start like you did from Bayo and Giolito. It's inevitable. There can't be perfect every time. There's so little margin for error given what the offense has done. So I think they get in. But now I'm with you guys. It's like white knuckle time, right? It used to be we need to keep winning and get them to host the wild card series with the Yankees. Now it is get in, hell or high water, whatever it takes, just get in.
Amen.
It's at that point, just take 2 or 3. That's all I want to see. Take 2 or 3 at some point over these next 6 games, over the next 7 days. He's Will Flemming, and you know what? You could catch him on the call for all of those games. Will, you do a tremendous job.
Yes, he does.
Great hearing the voice that always tells me about the best deals on blueberries and avocados, too, by the way. Will Flemming, thanks for waking up with us, my man. Have a great call tonight, and thank you for coming on the chat, brother.
My pleasure. It'll never be quite the same as Joe telling you it's 77-cent avocados. But you know what? I do my best. He's the legend. But thanks so much for having me on, guys. It's great to be with you.
You do a great job taking the torch from the legend as well. We enjoy him on the call as well. He's Will Flemming. Catch him on WEI for calling all the Red Sox games. Will, have a great call tonight. Thanks again for coming on the chat.
We will. Thanks, guys.